How's it going, folks? So the band Nachtmuse is at it again. They've released a brand new song. This one is called the Sunken, and they've asked me to give it a listen. I said absolutely, of course. And this is from their new EP coming out April 7th, I believe, and I think it's called Darker Skies. So I think this might be our last glimpse, well, perhaps not last glimpse, but just another taste of what's to come on their EP. And I'm really excited for this really unique band. I really dig their style and their sound, so I'm excited. And without further ado, let's just give it a listen, shall we? Rangers, go. Wow. Very interesting song. Very kind of eclectic. There's a lot of different stuff going on. That one guitar that was kind of in the beginning of the bridge and then there at the end, with a little bit of that feedback, that it kind of sounded like a 90s grunge influence kind of sound. I dig it. But so yeah, the song started out like super groovy and melodic. I really, really dug it with that guitar uh, riff and or melody and the bass. It just really moody and just groovy. I dug it, and then that transitioned into more of like a traditional heavy metal kind of sounding riff and whatnot. And I was like, this is tight. This is tight. Not what I was expecting, and I was digging it big time. Um, and the chorus, I love how melodic the chorus is, and I love how that great like guitar melody from the beginning kind of comes back in for like the chorus, and I love the vocals and just the melody of the chorus. It all just works together really, really nicely, and then it goes back to that traditional kind of heavy metal sound, and and then the bridge. Oh man, it started out with that like '90s grunge kind of guitar styling going on, and then the tempo really picked up. With the drums, the kick and the riffs, and then the symphonic elements really came in, and glorious. The bridge in this song, the whole thing, whatever I think would be considered the bridge, like from the um, the '90s grunge style portion, all the way through like the whole instrumental like pickup with the tempo, and then the vocals coming in and the symphonic elements. Um, it just sounded grand, just wonderful, just wonderful. I just dug it. I was so into it. It just sounded so sick. Just so awesome, so awesome. And then that transitions. Transitions very interestingly. The tempo just gradually drops, and you get back into that kind of mellow, very just methodical guitar melody, like string strumming kind of. Well, I mean, if you're playing the guitar, you're strumming strings, but or like picking strings almost. I don't know, just a very slow strumming of the strings. The and then like the chorus comes back in, and it was just really sick. And then the way the song ends was pretty gnarly. So very, very interesting song with all these different elements at play. Because yeah, like in the bridge, it becomes kind of like a melodic symphonic metal song, and then you have like the traditional heavy metal riffs, kind of for the verses, and you have the '90s grunge influenced, little portion, and then like in the chorus, like with that moody kind of just groovy uh, guitar and bass going. Very, very unique and an eclectic song here. And you may notice the one thing that I skipped over because I'm just throwing praises, at everything. But one thing I kind of glossed over on purpose until now was the verses. And the only thing that really kind of took me off guard, because this song has a lot of different shifts. It's changing and moving a lot, and not just like gradual shifts. They're really almost shifting like complete styles of song almost, and that is just exceedingly difficult to do. And I feel like, and I'll use an example, but I feel like in the verses, um, when the vocals come in, it just feels very, very abrupt. That transition from like the riff that's going, like the heavy metal riff and stuff. You got this momentum, you got all this, and then the vocals come in just really sharp, really, really, really quick, and it's kind of got that staggered kind of, or like staccato, or whatever it's called, where it's like bump 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 bump. It's like jagged. Like the way that the vocals are put in there, and it just kind of took me off guard a little bit. I just personally, I couldn't really get into the verses too much, and I feel like the transition from just the music, the guitar riff and stuff, into the vocals, into the verses, I feel like it's just a little too sudden, to where it just doesn't seamlessly kind of go into it, and I don't know, maybe like instead of having the real jagged vocals, maybe having them more connected might have helped a little bit, like having it, the vocals kind of gradually come in, and then sharp, jagged or whatever, and then kind of gradually to the next spot, gradually to the next spot, instead of bump, bump, bump. Maybe, instead of like bump, 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 like bum, bum. And now I'm sounding like Jaws, the Jaws theme song, but that's just because I'm saying bump. But yeah, just like bum, 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 bum. Like, like the words kind of um, dragged along into the next hitting spot of the vocals, instead of so sharply. Because yeah, I don't know, just the way that comes in, it just feels very, very, very abrupt and sudden. I just wish there was a little bit more lead up into that, so that the connection between the riff and the music into the vocals in the verses felt a little bit more um, seamless, a little bit more connected, and not so disjointed. And I feel like this was handled beautifully elsewhere in the song. Most specifically, um, the end of the bridge, how it transitioned back into the slower tempo, melodic chorus and melodic guitar riff, because the tempo is sped up there on the bridge, and then it just kind of slows down, and it takes you with it. It takes you back down into that next portion of the song, into the slower tempo, and that more melodic, um, like chorus kind of section. Even and that transition between going from here, that real like speedy, faster tempo, melodic symphonic metal, to dropping down into more of just like a melodic, slower tempo melodic, metal sound. It just it's like this, but it was connected, in a way that we were kind of taken with it. And even with, after the chorus, into the 90s grunge type deal, and into the kind of like melodic symphonic metal, it all kind of went together well. So you felt like you were being taken along with it nicely. Um, so all of the transitions, I felt like were really, really well done, even though it's really crazy at transitioning from some of those spots into the other. But there in the verses, I just feel like it's so sharp and sudden that there's no real, you're not like kind of like taken into it. It kind of just feels like you're thrown off the roller coaster almost, just with how quick it is and how sharp that comes in. So yeah, that's really what I got to say about that. But yeah, other than that, like I said, the other transitions, it's just a wild song with how many different pieces there are, and how, they were all kind of connected, except for that one, just with the verses, the way that the music, just that heavy metal, and even after the first chorus, that heavy metal riff comes back, and then it goes right into the boom, boom, boom. It just, I don't know, it just feels like a lot. And whereas the rest of the song, you're taken through it in a nice, connected, seamless way. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Really wild song. Obviously I like the majority of it quite a bit, and the bridge is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, I love the chorus, great melody, great vocals. Really cool song, really unique song. Um, yeah, I mean, this band is always willing to kind of try something different, try something new, and experiment with things. And it's always fun to hear because you're never quite sure what you're gonna get here. And I love to see that. I love to see that kind of creativity and all that kind of stuff. So, anywho, that's my 2 cents on this bad boy here from Nachtmuse. And like I said, they got their new EP coming out April 7th. So yeah. Anywho, let me know, folks, in the comments down below what you thought of this song here. Let's talk about it, and I'll catch y'all next time. Ranger out.